Don't look behind you, never split up, stay out of the basement. My name's Simon, and welcome to Insert Pasta Pun here. Now, normally I would be pouring my snark on a badly written creepypasta, but today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Rather than just slating something that's badly written and not scary, I thought I'd sort of give you guys an insight into some of the creepypastas that I really like. This is going to be a section that I'm going to try and do semi-often, and I'm going to call it, NoobPasta, or something along those lines. So it's sort of, for all of you guys who are sort of just getting into the creepypasta scene, and some of the sites can actually be a huge dump for these sites, and it can be quite kind of difficult to find the stuff you like. Creepypasta Wiki is, whilst it's a great source for creepypasta, it's not always the most. I mean, the suggested reading section is a bit hit and miss. So, for your delectation, I've read through a load of creepypastas, and I figured I'll just sort of share with you some of the ones that I like. Now, the one I'm going to start with is one of my personal favourites. I think this could be, aside from Ben Drowned, which I'll probably cover in another episode, is possibly one of my favourite creepypastas of all time, possibly one of the ones that actually got me into creepypasta in the first place. So I'm just going to sort of, and it's called Pen Pals. Now I'll try and keep this as spoiler free as possible, because I really think it's sort of best if you actually sit down and read it. It's quite a long read, but it's broken into portions, 6 portions. Which can be read separately, and out of order. I personally would recommend you read it from start to finish, especially if you're not reading them in order. Hold off on the last one, because it all builds up to a very satisfying conclusion. Now, I'll give you a little bit of background on it. So this one first appeared in 2010 on No Sleep, which is the subreddit for horror stories, and it's written by Dathan Auerbach. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Under the handle 10,000 Vultures. 1,000 Vultures. Not enough zeros for 10,000. Now, what's good about the No Sleep forum is that everything on there, one of the rules of the subreddit is that everything on there is true. So you can't call people out if you think something's untrue or anything like that. And when he published the first section of this, he actually replied to all the comments that were made on it in character as the main person in the book, in the story, should I say. It was actually later on. He actually then later on crowdfunded the money to self-publish a book where he fleshed out the story a bit more, and that's well worth checking out as well, in my opinion. Now, the first, it comes in, as I said before, it comes in six sections. So the first one is footsteps, the second is balloons, the third is boxes, fourth is maps, 5 is screens, and 6 is friends. And to be honest, each of them are fairly self-contained in themselves, but they do kind of all link into each other, as they're all along a similar sort of theme, and are kind of based around one kind of long event that took place in the protagonist's life as a child, and I love it. It's so creepy. Like, each section has a nice little payoff at the end, building up to the massive payoff at the end of the entire story, and it just touches on so many things that sort of resonate with me, like getting kidnapped, for instance. Again, I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible, but yeah, it's a version that's getting kidnapped or being watched, and it also plays on sort of like regret and sort of how things that happen to you as a child can stick with you and sort of keep going and resonate throughout your life. I really can't recommend it enough. It's really wonderful. And as I say, it's one of the first creepypastas that truly scared me. As I say, I mean, the whole thing just seems to resonate with me, and everyone I've spoken to about this, who's also read it, thinks that it really resonates with them as well. And I think it really taps into some of the universal horrors, especially in this modern day and age, one of those universal horrors that we all kind of feel, especially when we're children. Um, I mean, just to give you a sort of a brief overview of each section. I mean, it all starts with a boy who, as part of a school project, sent out. So this is actually the second one I'm talking about. But basically, in part of Balloons, it's basically about a boy who sends out sends off a balloon as part of a school project, which a lot of us have done, with a note taped to it saying, if you find this, please send it back with a letter or whatever. And it then he sets the balloon off with the note, and eventually sort of starts hearing back. And I don't really want to go into it much more than that, because I don't want to sort of spoil anything, as I say, and I'll keep saying it throughout this. Just because I've done it a little bit out of order, because I think Balloons was the first one that I came across. The one before it, Footsteps, is also great. This is the one that, as I say, sort of touches on the sort of elements of disappearing or being kidnapped, things like that. And again, well worth a read. Now, I'm not going to go into all of them. I don't want to sort of as I say, I don't want to ruin anything. I don't want to. I don't want to put anyone off reading it. Now, you can find this one on the Creepypasta wiki in its entirety. I'm pretty sure you can still find it on No Sleep, and I'm pretty sure 1000 Vultures has its own website. Oh yeah, 1000vultures.com. Convenient. So, I strongly suggest you check it out, because as I say, it's one of the best creepypastas that's going, in my opinion. And it's a great starting place for anyone who sort of wants to know what the sort of essence of creepypasta is. I mean, it's all told in the first person. It's all very realistic. It could actually have happened, and it's totally believable. And I think when I first read it, I genuinely thought it was a real story, which is obviously, in my opinion, one of the sort of hallmarks of great creepypasta is when you read it and even though I know it's a story, I'm still not convinced that this hasn't happened to someone somewhere. Now, I've talked a bit longer than I actually thought I would. 7.5 minutes. I'm doing all right. Wow. So, I'll call this a mini episode, and I'll get something. I'll get back to the snark next week. But for now, as I say, head over to the Creepypasta wiki, type in pen pal into the search bar. You'll get the whole lot, and I strongly suggest you check it out. Next time, I'll get back to the snark. Let's do something really crappy. I think I've got one picked out already. That scores a 6.3, so that'll be a treat for everyone. I hope you've enjoyed me sort of actually being positive about people's writing for once. And as I say, check this out. I'll be doing more of these with more of the creepypastas that I particularly enjoy. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've liked my waffling, and I'll see you guys next time or something.